Orphaned girl walks into pawn shop with a teddy bear. Owner looks inside and freezes. The bell over the door gave a tired jingle as the girl stepped in, clutching a scuffed teddy bear to her chest. Outside, the February wind skated along Elm Street and rattled the pawn shop sign. Inside, dust motes drifted in a shaft of light. The girl hesitated, then crossed the threshold with a breath that looked too big for her small frame. Marcus Delaney glanced up from the glass counter. Late 40s, careful hands, the habit of seeing the story inside an object. He saw guitars, rings, and tools every day, but the bear in the girl's arms pulled his focus. Not the toy, the grip. "You buying or selling?" he asked. "Selling," she said, steady and soft. "Just the bear." He gestured. "Let's take a look." As she set the bear down, he noticed a name stitched in pale thread along one paw. Cinnamon. Clumsy, childlike, honest. "I'm Marcus," he said. "And you are?" "Lily," she said. "Lily Monroe." He offered peppermints. She shook her head, eyes roaming the shop, counting exits like someone trained by hard days. A dented saxophone, a wedding veil on a headless mannequin, a Polaroid camera still willing to work. "How old is Cinnamon?" he asked. "Older than me, I think," she said with a small smile. "My mom called him a family thing." Family hovered. Marcus turned the bear. Worn fur, a sagging ear, seams thinned by years of holding on. "Any reason you're selling?" "Rent," she said. "Harbor Motel wants payment by tonight." Questions lined up, but he kept them in place. "Where are your folks?" "Gone," she said, not unkindly. "My mom passed last spring. Never knew my dad." Marcus let quiet rest, then cleared his throat. "I can give you something," he said, "but I don't resell keepsakes lightly. If you change your mind, we can call this a hold instead of a sale." Her shoulders eased. "How much is a hold?" 20% of whatever we agree on," he said. "I'll keep him safe for 30 days. She nodded, smoothing Cinnamon's fur like she was memorizing it. "How much is he worth?" "Worth is slippery," Marcus said. "To some it's a calculator. To others, a heartbeat. Let's see." He flipped the bear, checked eyes, nose, ear, thinning fur. A seam along the back felt stiff. He pressed lightly. Something solid answered. Not plastic, not stuffing. Something small and rigid. He paused. "Did you know there's a hard spot here?" he asked. Lily frowned. "No, he was always squishy till recently." Marcus set the bear down. He reached for reading glasses and a small seam picker. "I won't open anything without your say-so," he said. "But sometimes old toys hide surprises." "Like what?" "Letters, keys, sometimes a folded picture." He lifted a palm. "Or nothing." She chewed her lip. "If there's something inside and it's not mine, do I still get the money?" "If it's evidence of something illegal, I call the police," Marcus said. "If it's personal, we decide together. If it's a winning ticket, we negotiate," he added, and the corner of her mouth twitched. "Okay," Lily said. "Open it." Marcus slid the seam picker under a loose stitch and eased it up. The thread parted like it had been holding its breath. He widened the opening enough to slip 2 fingers inside. Paper first, then metal. A chill climbed his arms. He drew out a small envelope, folded twice and crisp. A brass key was taped to the front. The tape yellowed. The paper scented faintly with something old. One word was written in purple ink. "For Lily." Lily's breath hitched. "That's my name," she whispered. "Do you want to open it?" "You do it," she said, pushing it over, palms damp. "My hands are shaking." Marcus lifted the flap. Inside was a Polaroid and a folded note. He turned the photograph toward the light, and the shop seemed to tilt. A young woman stood on a pier, hair whipping across her smile, holding the bear. Beside her, a boy with dark hair and a crooked grin had his arms slung around her shoulder like home. Marcus looked like that boy. His reflection in the glass case wavered, older now, but the grin was the same he'd seen in mirrors at 18. The room narrowed to a tunnel. "What's wrong?" Lily asked. He turned the photo over, in purple ink. July 1999, Lake Monroe. Me and Marcus and Cinnamon. "That's my mom," Lily said. Her name was June Monroe. The name cracked something open in his chest. "June," he said softly. "I haven't seen her since I left after high school. I never stopped wondering what happened to her." He unfolded the note. The same purple ink ran across the page in careful letters. "If you're reading this, it means I couldn't say it out loud. Lily, Cinnamon keeps a secret. Take the key to locker 317 at Lakeside Storage. Marcus, if you ever find this, forgive me." The bell over the door jingled again, but neither turned. Outside, the wind pressed its face to the glass. Inside, Marcus stared at the note, the bear, the girl with June's eyes, and felt versions of his past sprint toward him. "Why would my mom write your name?" Lily asked. Marcus steadied his hands. "Because once," he said slowly, "your mom and I were in love." Marcus let the silence stand like a bridge. The shop's clock ticked while Lily traced the stitched name on the bear's paw, then looked up with a question at the edge of fear and hope. "Were you my father?" she asked. "I don't know," he said. "Your mother and I were together the summer before I left. We promised letters. Life scattered us. I never heard back. I should have tried harder." He glanced at the photo, then at the key. "We can look for answers." "The locker," she said. "The locker," he echoed. He slipped the key into his pocket and closed the seam on Cinnamon with a few careful stitches, then placed the bear back in her hands. "We'll go together. First, I'm calling Joe." Joe Reyes from the cafe answered on the second ring. Soon, she stepped in with a look that asked soft questions. "Go," she said. "Take my car." They walked into the chill. The sky had cleared, a blue that looked clean enough to trust. Joe's sedan chirped. Lily hugged Cinnamon to her chest as if the bear could anchor her. Lakeside Storage sat behind a chain-link fence near the old rail spur. A clerk glanced at the key and pointed them on. Locker 317 waited under a flickering strip light. Marcus hesitated with the key. "We open this together," he said. "If any part hurts, we stop and breathe." "Okay," she said. The lock clicked. The door rolled up. Inside stood 3 boxes and a plastic tote labeled with purple tape. Lily squeezed the bear. ... Marcus pulled the tote onto the concrete. The tape read, "June, Lily, for later." He lifted the lid. On top lay notebooks, a fabric pouch, and a worn denim jacket. Lily pressed her face to the collar. In the pouch, they found a driver's license, a library card, and a folded letter addressed to Marcus Delaney. "Read yours first," Lily said. He unfolded the letter. June's handwriting moved across the page. "Marcus, if this finds you, I hope the years were kind. I kept the photo because the day at the lake felt true. I wanted to tell you I was pregnant, but I was scared of tying anyone to my storm. I left town with a job that fell apart, then came back broke. I told myself I'd call you after I got steady. I didn't get steady. If Lily is with you, tell her the truth was never a lack of love. It was fear and pride and doors I couldn't open. I hid the key in Cinnamon so Lily could find you when she was ready. If you don't want to be found, I understand. But I believe the man who laughed with the wind would at least read this far. June Marcus set the letter on his knee and exhaled. Lily turned the notebooks, scanning dates. "These are from when I was little," she said. "Diaper notes, nap notes, grocery lists." Beneath the notebooks sat a small metal cash box. The key from the envelope fit. Inside were bundles of small bills, plus receipts stamped with night shift hours from the diner by the highway. She was saving. Lily whispered. "For you," Marcus said. Under the cash, another note waited in purple ink. "For rent, for school, for days you can't carry alone." Lily matched her breathing to the hum of the light. "I didn't know she planned like this," she said. "Both can be true," he said. One box held baby clothes, another photographs through the years. The third box felt heavier. Inside was a manila folder stuffed with contracts and letters from a company called Harlow and Pines Assets, Inc. "Collections," Marcus said. "There's a payment plan and a line that reads, 'Satisfied in full.'" His finger landed on a signature date. 2 weeks before she passed. Lily's face changed like a door opening. "She finished something," she murmured. Clipped to the folder was a photo of an older man in a brown suit, standing with June outside a small storefront. A wooden sign above the door read, "Monroe and Sons Watch Repair." On the back, June wrote that Mr. Callahan forgave storage fees and gave her part-time work. Lily traced the storefront name with her thumb. "I don't remember that place," she said. Marcus scanned the locker's corners. "There might be one more thing," he said. He tapped the wall. Hollow space answered. He felt a ridge along the floor seam, peeled back curling tape, and found a flat envelope wedged into the gap. Purple ink again. "For the day you feel lost." He handed it to Lily. She opened it. Inside was a bus card with credit, a hand-drawn map to Monroe and Sons, and a final note. "If you can't find your way, this door is still ours. Ask for Mr. Callahan. Tell him June sent you." Lily tucked the note into her pocket and looked at Marcus. "Do you think he's still there?" "Only one way to find out," he said. He closed the locker, locked it, and handed her the key. "You keep this, the story is yours." They drove back as the sun leaned low. Lily watched the town. When they reached Elm Street, Joe waited with 2 steaming cups. She handed Lily hot chocolate and Marcus coffee. "We found a map," Lily said, voice steadier than before. "And maybe a door." The air felt possible. We kept moving, forward the next morning. Began with light sliding through broken blinds in the small room Lily rented above the laundromat. Cinnamon sat on the dresser, one ear tilted like he was listening. Lily dressed in clean jeans and a faded hoodie, tucked the map into her pocket, and whispered, "Wish me luck." The bear said nothing, but she felt braver anyway. Marcus waited outside in his truck, the engine coughing, then catching. He looked like he hadn't slept much. His hair stuck up at one edge, and there was grease under his nails from fixing something at dawn to keep his hands from shaking. When Lily climbed in, he offered a paper bag. Inside was a breakfast sandwich and an apple. She bit in quietly while he drove. They followed the map through streets that still smelled of rain. The address led to a quiet block where old shops hunched shoulder to shoulder. One window held watches in neat rows, ticking with patient hearts. Above the door, worn but sturdy, the sign still read, "Monroe and Sons Watch Repair." A bell chimed as they entered. The shop smelled of metal and cedar. Rows of clocks lined the walls, all set to different times like tiny worlds in motion. Behind the counter stood an older man with silver hair combed with precision, wearing a vest that looked older than Marcus. "Mr. Callahan?" Marcus asked. "That depends," the man said. His voice, "She paid it," Callahan replied. Every cent. She worked nights and mornings and still smiled. He looked past Lily to Marcus. And you must be Marcus. Marcus blinked. She told you about me? Often, Callahan said. She kept a photo of you on the shelf in the back. Said you taught her that not all doors stay closed forever. Something pressed behind Marcus's ribs. She thought that? She knew that, Callahan said. He led them to a workbench in the back room. A wooden box sat there, wrapped in brown paper and twine. She left this here, he said. Asked me to give it to Lily when she was ready. He pushed it forward. I think you are. Lily pulled the twine loose with trembling fingers. Inside lay a pocket watch, gold but scuffed at the edges. Its chain tangled like wild grass. The back was engraved. Time doesn't heal, but love does. Beneath it lay a small notebook titled in purple ink, If You Feel Alone. She opened the first page. Her mother's handwriting curved across it. Dear Lily, if the world feels heavy, know that you were never a mistake. You were the reason I kept breathing when air felt optional. Every night I fixed broken watches and whispered promises to you. If you are reading this, I hope you are safe, warm, and braver than I ever was. Lily's eyes blurred. She shut the notebook gently and held it to her chest. Callahan cleared his throat softly. She worried you'd think she left because she didn't love you. I told her love leaves traces. She left you everywhere. Lily nodded, tears slipping down but her jaw steady. She did, she whispered. Callahan gave her a folded envelope. This is yours too. It held a small certified check. Marcus leaned in and read the number. Enough to cover months of rent, school fees, or something bigger. Lily blinked like the world had shifted under her feet. She saved all this? She asked. For you, Callahan said. Always for you. She stood still, clutching the watch, the notebook, the envelope. Marcus touched her elbow lightly. We should head back, he said gently. This is a lot. Callahan nodded. Come visit, he said. This place is part of your story. Outside, the sun had broken fully through the clouds. The air carried the sound of a nearby church bell, clear and certain. Marcus drove slower this time. Lily stared out the window, the city rolling by like film. Half here and half remembered. She thought of her mother, bent over tiny gears, saving quiet miracles one watch at a time. Back at the pawn shop, Joe waited with Cinnamon perched on her shoulder like a pirate's parrot. He's been supervising inventory, she said gravely, making Lily smile. Marcus unlocked the shop. The familiar smell wrapped around them, like an old coat. Lily sat on the stool by the counter and set the watch down, ticking softly. I don't know what to do with all this, she said. It feels too big. Start small, Marcus said. Clean the watch. Read the notebook. Breathe. What about you? She asked. He hesitated, then said, I don't want to vanish from your story again. She looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. Then don't. They spent the afternoon sorting through the tote from the locker, placing items in careful stacks. Every object carried weight. Baby shoes, diner receipts, a cracked coffee mug painted with crooked flowers. Lily handled each like a fragile bone of history. Marcus worked beside her quietly, sleeves rolled, eyes soft, with something like reverence. As dusk slid down the windows, Lily spoke. I keep wondering why she didn't tell me about you. Maybe she thought she had time, Marcus said. Maybe she didn't want to build hope on something that might disappear. But you didn't disappear, Lily said. I almost did, Marcus admitted. I let silence win. She studied his face. Are you sorry? Every day, he said, and every day I want to do better. The words settled between them like roots. Joe locked up and left with a wave. The shop went quiet. Lily picked up Cinnamon and sat cross-legged on the floor. Marcus sat across from her. The watch ticked between them, steady as breath. She said, "Love leaves traces," Lily murmured. She was right. Marcus said. The clocks hummed in their chorus. Lily curled against the wall, exhaustion pulling her down. Marcus fetched a blanket from the back. She was already asleep when he draped it over her, cinnamon tucked under her arm, the gold watch glinting beside her like a small sun. Marcus sat at the counter in the dim light, staring at the photo from the pier. He was older now, worn at the edges, but maybe still capable of keeping promises. He whispered into the quiet, "I'll try." Dot. Lily woke to sunlight pooling through the shop windows and the smell of coffee. Cinnamon had fallen to the floor during the night, and Marcus had propped him back on the counter, upright and watchful. She blinked, disoriented, then remembered the watch, the notebook, the photo. The weight of it all returned, but softer now, like a coat she could wear. "Morning," Marcus said from the doorway, holding 2 mugs. "I wasn't sure how you take it, so I guessed, sweet." "Good guess," she said, wrapping her hands around the mug. The warmth steadied her. "I had the strangest dream." "Was I in it?" he asked. "Yeah," she said. "You were still here." His smile came slow, like sunlight after cloud. "That's a start." They spent the morning reading more of the notebooks. Lily learned how her mother had charted her first steps on napkin corners, how she'd written lists of places she wanted to take her. Parks, museums, the coast. Most crossed out, but some underlined like promises waiting. Lily laughed through tears at a page covered in crayon scribbles labeled "Important Business Documents" in June's handwriting. Around noon, Marcus stepped into the back and returned with a small wooden frame. Inside was the pier photo, now cleaned and centered. "I thought maybe you'd like this where you can see it," he said. She traced the edges. "She looks happy." "She was," he said. "She made things brighter." "So do you," Lily said, almost shy. He blinked. "That's the nicest thing anyone said to me this decade." She grinned, and the space between them shifted, lighter, easier. They talked then, really talked, about the years between. Lily told him about bouncing between foster homes after June passed, about learning to keep her backpack packed just in case. Marcus told her about drifting city to city, repairing broken radios, broken locks, sometimes broken people, and how he always felt like he was searching for something unnamed. When she asked what changed, he said, "Maybe it's you." The afternoon brought a knock at the door. Jo poked her head in with a stack of flyers. "There's an opening at the community center," she said. "Youth art program. They're looking for someone steady and creative." Lily's brow creased. "I've never had a real job." "Perfect," Jo said. "Less bad habits to unlearn." Marcus nodded. "You're good with people, and you see beauty in things that look broken." Lily stared at the flyer. The thought of belonging anywhere felt fragile, like glass, but also possible. "Maybe," she said softly. "No pressure," Marcus said. "Doors open when they're meant to." She tucked the flyer into her pocket with the notebook. "I'll think about it." They closed the shop early and walked down to the river. The air was cool, water carrying the faint smell of moss and rain. Lily stood at the railing, cinnamon under her arm, the watch ticking in her pocket. "Do you think she'd be proud of me?" she asked. Marcus leaned on the rail beside her. She already was. A long quiet stretched between them. Gulls wheeled overhead. The world felt big, but not as lonely. As the sun dipped, they headed back. On the way, they passed the old library. Lily paused, looking at the dark windows, and said, "What if we put her things here someday? A place for people to remember her." "A corner in the shop," Marcus said. "June's corner. Stories, notebooks, cinnamon when you're ready." "Not yet," Lily said quickly, holding the bear tighter. "Not yet," he agreed. That night, she stayed again at the shop, this time in the small loft upstairs. Marcus found her standing at the window, city lights blinking like patient stars. "Can I tell you something weird?" she asked. "Those are my favorite kind," he said. "For the first time," she said, "I don't feel like I'm just passing through. I feel like I might be home." Marcus swallowed hard. "Then let's build it." Weeks passed like chapters. Lily visited the watch shop to learn how gears worked, spent afternoons at the community center painting murals with kids, and returned each evening to the shop where Marcus always left a lamp on. They built June's corner together, a shelf with her notebooks, the photo, and a sign that read, "Love leaves traces." Cinnamon sat on the highest shelf like a sleepy guardian. One evening, the center called to offer Lily a permanent position. She accepted, voice shaking, then ran to the shop to tell Marcus. He was fixing a guitar. She burst in, grinning, breathless. "I got the job." He looked up, eyes bright. "Of course you did." She laughed, and he laughed, and for a moment it felt like the world had been waiting for this exact sound. Spring came. The shop's doorbell chimed constantly, now with regulars bringing things to mend. Lily worked part-time at the shop too, sorting treasures and telling stories behind the counter. People listened. They lingered. Something about her steadiness drew them in. One slow afternoon, she found Marcus in the back, polishing the pocket watch. "I want you to have this," she said. He looked up sharply. "It's yours." "It's ours," she said. "She gave it to both of us." He closed his hand around it, quiet. "Then I'll keep it ticking." That night, they locked up and walked to the river again. The air was warm, carrying hints of summer. Lily leaned on the railing, cinnamon tucked under her chin, and said, "I think she'd like this." "She would," Marcus said. "You've made her proud." The water moved below them, steady, endless, like time, but softer now, less sharp. They stood in silence, the kind that didn't need filling. Lily glanced at him. "Do you ever wish things had been different?" "Sometimes," he said. "But if they had been, maybe I wouldn't be standing here with you." She nodded. "Me too." For a long while, they just watched the river, two shadows side by side, stitched back together by something larger than loss. And when they finally turned toward home, the shop lights glowing ahead, it felt like a beginning, not an ending. As the shop's bell chimed behind them, and the river hummed beyond the glass, Lily glanced back at the shelf where Cinnamon sat guarding June's words. For the first time, her past didn't ache, it anchored her. And as she stepped into the night beside Marcus, she knew this wasn't where the story ended. It was where her life finally began.